So, to catch us up really quick and continue our story. Last time we started, just as you arrived at the shore of the strange island, chasing the sound of the drawing music that seemed to have a grasp on two of the party. Despite this, as soon as you arrived and kind of started speaking about what to do, potentially making tea or something along those lines, the music went away. Deidre had with her a piece of parchment that she had used to transcribe the information given to her in, I guess, in her strange way. Really hard to kind of describe exactly how that information came. That wouldn't be the only way you received a message, however. As you got onto the shores and kind of spread out, each kind of looking one way or the other, by magical means, something would reach out to Deidre, warning you that a covenant has been made with the land, and it is now... that covenant had been made with the land, and that this land belonged to the Nea. With that in mind, kind of sharing that information with the group, kind of put everybody on edge, or at least put Talifer on edge. Worried about the potential implications, what that meant. You all stood, kind of waiting, looking to see exactly what to do next. When you heard great, almost like wood snapping, like the ripping of roots from a felled tree. With that sound, seeing the tops of these trees just move and shake violently, decided to get out, to run. When faced with potential for what this creature may be, you all jumped back into the boat and pushed off the island, set to get back to proper land. And behind you, you would see, just kind of in the fading kind of fog and darkness of the island, what appeared to be just this massive tree-like being standing at the edge of the water, carrying in one arm what looked to be a tangled mess of roots crafted into some sort of a shield, and the other, what could only be described as a massive kind of stone axe. And with that, after taking a sketch as you fled, you made it to the other side, now wholly convinced that whatever this was a knight of the Nea. And potentially this was a declaration of war, or at the very least, a redrawing of long-held borders. And so, as you safely made it to the opposite side, there was a question of where Erasmus was. Shad, kind of quick thinking as the rest of you kind of had a conversation amongst yourselves about, what that was, what you'd seen, everything along those lines. Shad, you had to quickly jump into action, saving Erasmus from what would have surely been a cruel fate, wrapped amongst a healthy amount of vine and thorn. Able to dispel the magic involved, you all jump back on and, not jump back on, you all just made it your mission to make it back to Lynn Ward. So, you made your way, following the road back, and I made a note of this, but I think I wrote it wrong. Was there a final message to Deidre as you were leaving shore, or was there two messages? Either way, my note says that there was a final message, asking for Deidre to return, potentially join in the covenant. In any case, you all rush back to Lynn Ward, able to make it back to the safety of the city walls. In the time that you've been gone, nothing else has changed. And so you, as a group, decided to split. Shad wanted to go ahead and gather a few items of interest, while Talifer, Hendrik, and Deidre made their way to speak to Bowen. And so, sharing the information with Bowen, also learning a bit of things, learning a few things, some good, some bad, right? You inform Bowen, and upon that, that was, I believe that was most of the information, right? Just informing him, so making sure that he had the appropriate information at hand, and then from there, deciding to make your exit. So the party would rejoin, Shad having successfully been able to get the items of interest that he had, but having a bit of a freak out himself, as a not unlike Deidre, a strange voice kind of infiltrated Shad's mind, speaking about Shad's creator, in a sense, master, whichever you would lay claim to. Occult forces stalking casters. Indeed. And so, with this bit of a freak out, yelling at the top of your lungs, looking around, basically looking like a maniac in the middle of the street. After that, sitting alone, having a number of drinks, to try and calm the nerve. So, as the party rejoined, a bit of sharing, a bit of information, and I guess the reveal of a thought to be secret, at least for Shad. Yeah, Shad absolutely trashed, and Talifer kind of revealing, in a way, kind of joined by everybody, knowing Shad's secret and what he was, I should say. So, as Shad looked for momentary kind of in this, maybe a bit of confusion, maybe a bit of panic. In any case, in this moment of anxiety, kind of getting up, attempting to, maybe make a run for it, or not entirely sure exactly what to do next, a bolt of lightning streaked across the sky, and shortly after, the booming sound of thunder followed. And that is where we left off, and that is where we'll pick up. So, let me get some music going, and we shall begin. Okay. So, still heavily right in this moment, right? This reveal, Talifer having said what he said, and then kind of taking a few steps, walking away, kind of just leaving that information kind of hanging in the air. Shad, you've got this. Yeah, it's late afternoon, early evening at this point. The sky is dark enough that when the bolt of lightning kind of cracks through the sky, it does illuminate the area slightly. So, as the booming sound of thunder rolls in behind, Shad, this maybe for a moment just kind of strikes you initially, right? Like this, I don't know, maybe potential fear that, again, your old master, whatever you want to call him, is attempting to reach out, but as the thunder just kind of continues to roll, you're able to kind of resettle yourself only momentarily. By the way, the wind is picking up, and the sudden temperature drop, it becomes very apparent that it will soon start storming, potentially rain. So, what's everybody doing?
Well, Shad's trashed. He's probably looking longingly at the inn and a bed for the for the night, really, unless anybody else has got a better idea.
Talifer would like to just go and send another message via, one of his contacts or whatever, just very quickly before he then retires to bed as well.
Absolutely. Okay. So.
Yeah, with all that's going on, Deidre will just make sure that Shad's okay, and also head upstairs and find some place to sleep.
Fair enough.
Shad in his current state of sort of frantic anxiety, mixed with alcoholism, he's just gonna let a bit of his cover go. He says, "Look, should we just? It looks like a storm's coming in, and it's getting late. And I'm a bit tired all of a sudden, and it's been a bit of a day. Should we see if they got room? I'll get the rooms. Don't worry about it." And unless anybody's going to argue, he's going to stumble over to the bar and look at lining up 3 rooms.
Okay. Deidre.
Yeah, Deidre will keep her distance, but make sure that Shad is not faking it and bolting out of the door or something.
Okay.
So, the reason Shad's going for 3 rooms is there's currently only 3 of them. Talifer's wandered off and, again, distracted. So, like, out of sight, out of mind.
Fair enough.
Just gonna look at lining 3 rooms up with the bar. He will, he's not even going to negotiate a good rate, actually. He's just going to take whatever rate's offered.
Fair enough. Hendrik.
I turn to Deidre and say, yeah, you did that before, by the way. Yeah. On the recap. Doesn't matter though. I'll turn to Deidre and say, you are obviously old and wise. Do you give people space, or do you support them in these situations? I don't know. Very old and very wise, I repeat.
Well, yeah, it really depends on what I need at the moment. Some people need a shoulder to cry on. Some people just need some space. And it looks like Shad needs a little bit of space right now, so
I'm good at giving that.
But make sure that he's okay and not doing anything stupid.
So, Chad, you pay face value for the room, and I think for a place like this, just a random, say it's 1 gold all in for all 3 rooms.
So what was that?
1 gold.
One gold for all 3?
For all 3 rooms, yeah. This is not the nicest of inns you could be at, but at the very least, seems it'll be comfortable.
Again, and we'll do this for roleplay reasons. Shad just, again, he's distracted. He reaches in. If people are observing, they may see what is in his hand. But there is a chinking of coin. He'll pull one out and put it on the bar, and then put the rest back in the sack with the green ribbon.
Fair enough. All right. So, passing the coin along, kind of quickly take a look, drop it, and pass over 3 keys for various rooms. So, one by one, right? Shad, you kind of being the first, right? You probably just take the key and head on up. maybe even pass the keys out, to Bedivere and Deidre. But you call it an evening, right? You head up, just kind of throw yourself against. Yeah. It's a small room, basically. All that's within this room is just a single bed, a small kind of chest to leave your personal belongings if you're going to leave them within the room throughout the day, and a small desk, very, very small. Basically, it's a single kind of sheet of parchment, right, laid down. So very simple, but maybe in a sense comfortable. As you hop on in, just call it an evening.
With Shad, we're going meta here. Looking again the benefits of the rest for spell recovery and all that stuff. If he wakes up before dawn, that he may do something then.
Okay, fair enough. So, same goes for Deidre. You take the key, head up to a room, and call it an evening.
Yeah, make sure that everyone finds their room.
Fair enough. Okay.
And make note of who's where, so...
Yeah, the rooms
something
are kind
happens
of
during
up.
the night.
Yeah, rooms are lined up, so like one after the other. So starting at the first door, probably Cat, then in succession. Deidre, Bedivere. Gotta make sure everything is good to go and make your way up to your room. Bedivere, you have a key to a room, but is there anything else you'd like to get involved in?
Nope. Just go up there, waiting for like the next thing Shad does, and if he needs rest, he gets rest.
Fair enough.
We're gonna be supportive.
Indeed. And shortly after you make it to the room, what indeed follows is a heavy downpour of rain to go along with the pretty consistent, although random, strikes of lightning in the sky and the rolling thunder that continues to kind of flow through. Yeah, it is storming. The wind picks up, and as you view three, as you kind of rest in each of your rooms, there's a window in each room, which you can kind of look out of. It's not the largest, but in any case, still gives you the ability to kind of check your surroundings a bit. The howling of the wind kind of picks up enough to, if you're a light sleeper, right, it'll probably cause you some issues in the night, but could be ignored otherwise. Talifer, as you first, before kind of making calling it an evening, you set off to do this task. You head on down to the usual location where the Poet's Court kind of uses to communicate, and you draw up a letter, right?
Yep.
Fair enough. Okay. So. Right. Do you return to the same inn that everybody else is staying?
Yeah, I'd sort of establish where they were going, and then I would return to the inn. I wouldn't go straight to my room though. As Talifer comes in, he would just sort of have a look around. And what's the atmosphere like in the common room downstairs a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. As you kind of take a kind of quick look around, gauging the common room. Roll me a perception check, I guess. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
10. All right. As you look around the common room, it's mostly cleared out. On your way back is probably when the rain really would have hit, and so with the storm, kind of calling it an early evening for most. But as you make your way into the common room of the inn, you look around, and in the corner of the inn, there are three individuals all kind of bunched up together, almost shoulder to shoulder, sitting around this really small table. And each of them has like their back to whatever wall that they seem to be on, so they're all kind of like scooted on the opposite side, looking out into the common room. And it's very kind of like a very it's a very strange seating situation, right? Most people would just kind of pick one side so they can look at the other two, but instead they're all kind of crammed on one corner. But they do seem to be kind of speaking to each other, right? Heads kind of go back and forth. With a 10, and I rolled for them. You feel like these. You've seen people up to no good.
So they were worse at disguising it than I was at hiding it. Wow.
Yeah. You see people. Who knows what their intentions are? Maybe to rob the inn. I don't know, something along those lines. But they don't look like they're
mischievous.
Yeah, they've got some sort of plan here. I'd even say to the point of like when you walked in, and actually kind of, maybe you would have seen one of them like almost half standing up, like they were about to do something, but your sudden appearance kind of momentarily put a pause to it.
Interrupted it. Okay. I'll order myself a drink at the bar, just some sort of like local Foggian mead or something.
Yeah.
And then I will sit in the corner nearest the fire to allow myself to dry off, and I'll just strum and sing a little bit.
Fair enough.
For a couple of hours.
Okay.
Before heading off to bed.
Yeah, absolutely. So you order yourself a drink, and you sit and you start to kind of warm up and start to strum away. About an hour passes, and in this time, have you kind of like kept your eye on these 3 goons in the corner?
Yeah, I'm not like actively staring at them or anything, but yeah, I'll keep my eye out and just notice anyone that comes in and make eye contact, look over.
Yeah. So for the next hour, nobody really else comes in. The barmaid, or I'll say like a barmaid, will occasionally kind of come over, just kind of refill the drink. Not that you're chugging them one after the other, but just keeping it topped. Every time, even if it gets about halfway, it'll just kind of come over, refill, because there's no business at all. So about an hour into this, you'll kind of look up, and this will be the first time you see movement within the common room other than the barmaid, and those 3 goons just kind of stand up, almost like one after the other, and as one approaches, we're gonna still use the same checks here, so no need to make a new one.
Please. Are you sure?
Well, for them as well.
Okay, right.
So as the one approaches, you can tell that the one that is at the front has an anxiousness to them, but also looks like they're uncomfortable with having to approach. But in any case, the other 2 kind of keep shooting looks to each other, and basically staring into the back of this the leader's head, right? He'll kind of approach, and he'll kind of clear his throat as he kind of steps forward, and kind of look over at you. Mind if we join you?
As they're walking over, can I just put my feet up on the table and cross my feet across the table as they're walking over?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Sure, take a seat, friends.
Right. And he kind of like shakenly looks over at the other 2 and kind of like motions with his head for them to sit down. They're kind of like, for a moment they're like, huh, but then they kind of tend to go with. He sits down as well. He takes the seat probably closest to you. Not that he's like hip to you, but he's probably on the opposite side. Like he's not facing the bottom of your feet. He's kind of like probably facing the side of your feet.
Yeah.
He's going to put his. You'll notice that none of them kind of put their arms on the table or anything. They all kind of just sit where they are and keep their hands hanging down. The lead one will kind of speak up, and as you kind of see him now, he is a very he looks very weakened, very, you know, gaunt in the face. His skin is quite pale. He looks like, you know, his skin doesn't look the best. There's no like vibrancy to him, right? It looks like he's sick potentially, right?
Mhm.
He will kind of and again, like with the shaky voice that doesn't really present any confidence to it, he's gonna kind of just like, yeah, seems to be a stormy night out. Why have you decided to stick around the bar?
Well, that's what I do, friend. Stick around, have a drink, sing a song or two. You look like you could do with warming up yourself.
Kind of looks over at the other two. Don't you think it's don't you think this is really how he's talking, by the way? It's not me messing up. Yeah, it's not me messing up.
Yeah.
Don't you think and he kind of like, his eyes just kind of dart back and forth to the other two, who all kind of seem to have like this like look on their face, like, you know, like, what are you trying to tell me, right? Don't you think you should call it a night? It's a bit
Why?
late.
Do you not like my singing?
Well, and he kind of just turns again and kind of leans back in his chair. Just thought that you'd want to call it a night.
I mean, I'm absolutely fine here for the rest of the evening, gents. I've got at least one more drink in me. Can I get you all a drink, maybe to make up for my distracting your quiet chit chat over there? And before they answer, I'll look over at the waitress and just click my fingers and just gesticulate at them for three more. Three more mugs, if you don't mind, Gary.
Yeah, he tries to speak up, but you know, he doesn't have the confidence to even kind of interrupt you. So as you kind of order three more, the barmaid will kind of bring over three and kind of set them down, and the other two will like really, you know, kind of go straight for a drink, right? Don't hold back. They're chugging it back.
Something's got you a bit jumpy, isn't it, fellas? And as I'm doing this, I'm sort of just plucking away at the loot.
No, it's, you know, a bit stormy, you know. This is the leader who's kind of been trying to speak up. He will just kind of, you see, he kind of like prepares himself to say something, and then he like he almost like puffs up just a bit, and then he just yeah, and just his shoulders kind of drop. He just reaches.
As they're talking,
forward.
do they sound local?
Yeah, they do sound local. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're from, you know, not around here. They're definitely from around here. But his shoulders are kind of slumped. He'll just kind of sigh and just kind of reach forward and grab a drink.
Have you got something on your mind? Is there something you want to tell me? I'm all ears, honest.
He'll kind of lean forward, you know, like he's trying to tell you a secret, basically.
Yeah.
And this is after he takes a long drink of the beer, right? So he really kind of downs it and kind of sets it forward and kind of leans in. He still's got it, still kind of hanging from his breath, but he kind of speaks out. We just really don't want to hurt you. There's 30 gold in the till, and we really need that. So you just clear out, It'll take 2 seconds. We'll get the gold, and we'll be gone.
Oh, gentlemen, I'm very, very sorry. I didn't realize what I'd interrupted here. Sure, by all means, that's absolutely fine. I'll just pack my stuff away, and I'll be going up for the evening.
And you can tell he's like very appreciative as you say this. He just,
Yeah.
Don't even have to. Even if you're lying, you don't even have to roll. He just kind of fully believes. He's like, yeah, just even just a few minutes, you can come back down. But he's kind of nods along, and the others, seem to be
just as I'm packing my stuff away and sort of getting up, I stare at each one of their faces.
Yeah.
You've all got very, very distinct faces,
What of it?
Well, and as I'm talking and packing away, I sort of brush over the brooch that's around my neck that signifies I'm part of the Poets' Court. Well, I'm looking for inspiration for some new characters in a play that I'm currently writing.
Let me see some. Oh my god. Okay. They roll well here. One of them, his eyes, like he hasn't really kind of like been looking at you this entire time. This is one of the sidekick, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you kind of brush over the brooch, right? The symbol of your membership in the Poets' Court. You can see one of their eyes goes really wide, and then as the other one kind of speaks up, you can like he's leaning forward. He's like, "Gotta get out of here! Gotta get out of here! Stop it! This is over! This is over!" And he'll be the first one to kind of just stand up, like quickly. The chair goes kind of flying back, pushes back. He's just only kidding around. He no intentions of that whatsoever. It was just a funny joke. He thought it'd be funny if you went to bed earlier than you wanted to.
Talifer giggles away. That's how I've not heard that one before. John, explain the punchline to me.
It's just funny that you're in the room. It turns.
I'll be sure to write that one down with the description of your faces.
Yeah, and then he please.
And I'll look over at the barmaid and say, I think we're done here now, darling. And I'll flick her a couple of gold, whatever I've got left.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you for your service tonight. It's been lovely. Gentlemen?
Come over. They'll each kind of stand up, and the other two leave. The one that don't really recognize, the one that did recognize stays for a moment, just leans forward. Please just forget her face.
Forget whose faces. Have a good night, fella.
Thank you. And he kind of turn, quickly make his way out, leaving the common room clear. You're finished up. Do you actually call it a night, or do you kind of sit?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I call it not catch better.
All right, so calling it an evening.
I'll say to the barmaid. Might be best to close up now.
Yeah, I was just waiting for you all to clear out. And yeah, it absolutely. She kind of rushes over to the door, kind of quickly, locks everything down. It's a night. So you make your way back up, head to your room, and yeah. So you all sleep well. The next morning comes without issue. No strange dreams, nothing along those lines, unless you decide it happened, right? So Shad, unless you decide that the interaction yesterday and the mix of booze and such, as it would, maybe you might have like a nightmare of sorts, but as far as from my end,
I'm
nothing.
Sure Shad would have had some a disturbed night's sleep, as long as he gets the benefit of the rest. But
Yeah.
if he can wake up before daybreak, in a hungover state, he'll look around, groaning, look around see that the sun is not up. Listen out. You would like to listen out just to make sure that the inn is sound asleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's going to try something if we've got time. What he would like to do, because the rest of the party aren't aware of what Shad's got in one of the bags, in the bag with the green ribbon, he's going to extract one of the 3 large items that's in there and try applying his rune to it by scraping with his dagger into the surface, should we say, to see if he gets any result, because this will be the first time I think he's tried this.
Indeed. So as you carve this rune and into the corpse that you have,
oh, cat's out of the bag now.
Yeah,
it'll be one of the most recent acquisitions, not the old one.
Absolutely. So, yeah, you pull it, you set the carve in, and just roll me a straight d20. Nice.
Could go either way.
So, as you carve the rune in, for a moment it seems like nothing happened. Wound, left behind. This corpse that you've kind of pulled free. But you've practiced this rune many times now. At this point, you've been practicing for quite a long while. So you know you kind of carved it in perfectly. A moment passes, and then the wound, which was just recently just cut in, from a blade from yourself, instead almost looks like it heals, but naturally, like over time, it kind of scars up into a wound on this creature. I'm going to say that you have enough sense to know that this thing may reanimate itself right now, and it's in the middle of this extremely quiet inn. So, as the wound kind of scars up and far away, almost like it's been pressed into the skin and now kind of there stays, you can see small movements from the creature as it starts to reanimate.
Okay, and if Shad can react quickly enough,
I'll say you've got the.
Shad's going to drag the bag, the open end, back over it, and it goes back in the bag.
Okay.
And he'll be somewhat pleased with the experiment. It's a silver lining of the dark cloud of the previous day.
Indeed. And yeah, so for the first time, Shad, you have reanimated a creature, and it now stays, at least, to what you assume, animated, moving, in a bag of a couple of other so it stays there with them, and you shut it up, and yeah,
that's it. I'm happy that Shad's done that, and we can get on with the day.
Perfect. Okay, so with that, let's say that you do that, and then you're able to kind of get another hour or so of rest, right? Pleased with the experiment, and generally just kind of in need after a night of heavy drinking. So one by one, each of you kind of awakes to a fresh day. Make your way out of the rooms, down into the common room of the inn, and everything is clear. It has Talifer's done, at least to Talifer's knowledge, seemingly done a good enough job to ensure that those goons, whatever they were not going to return. And in the morning, the inn is kind of its usual busy self as a number of people kind of come and go for their breakfast, getting a bite, and then making their way back, continuing their work day, as it were. So you are all free to take an appropriate rest on your character sheet. The way to do that, in case you're unfamiliar, is if you look at your character sheet, you look to the left where your HP and dying, wounded, max HP is. You'll see a little bed. It says rest for the night. Click that, and it will automatically do it all. So, able to have a successful night of rest. I guess I should ask. As you all regroup to kind of discuss what's next, we'll say that each one of you, kind of one by one, comes on down, and you're able to, without having to kind of track every gold piece, you're able to kind of order platters of food, whatever it is you would like for breakfast. So, as the party regroups in the common room, quite busy. What's going on? We'll start with Talifer.
Talifer would like to be one of the first people up. When he realises it's getting a bit busy downstairs, they might actually have an audience, and he'll go down again and just start playing and singing a jaunty local song or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, he's not trying to perform or anything like that, but he's just entertaining people if they're interested.
Fair enough, absolutely. So, head on down. We got Shad up next.
Unless anybody's got a pressing reason for being next, Shad will walk in, and the noise of Talifer and the sursation of the crowd will hit him, and he'll just sort of clutch his head and make his way over to whichever part of the bar is furthest from Talifer, whichever table's furthest from Talifer, without any light glaring in from the windows, and just wave to get some attention, just to get some food, and then he'll just sit down with his head and his in his hands, leaning in, pretending he was wishing he was somewhere else or dead.
Fair enough. All right, Bedivere.
I'd like to go down, look for a table, sit down and just stare intensely above Talifer and Shard, and just wait for them to come by and wait for the tree, so I can then ask, well, what's the plan now? And if somebody doesn't want to come, I'll just carry them over. I should have enough bulk to carry one on a chair.
Fair enough. And Deidre.
Deidre comes walking in from the front door. You're all finally awake? And she just had a stroll outside.
Okay. So wake up, head out for a quick stroll. The weather, as it is the following day, the storm has not persisted, thankfully. But the sky is very much gray. The ground, everything around is very much still wet. Make your way in. So we'll say that at the very least, we'll say that already Bedivere and Shad are sitting at a table. Talifer's kind of walking around the bar, kind of strumming to the common room, and Deidre is now kind of come in from the outside and kind of proclaim this question. Everybody's awake. So, Talifer.
Yeah, Talifer, once everyone's sort of made their way in and he's not avoiding anyone's eye contact or anything, he'll wander over to the table where everyone's sitting. Good morning, brave Sir Bedivere. Morning, Gobbo. How are we? We all right?
Yeah. Good sleep. You?
I'm doing great. But yeah, continue on.
Shad.
Shad, with his hands, will flinch at what Talifer says, but not responding any other way.
So, what are we going to do now then?
Great question. Wanted to ask the same thing. I was hoping you'd have an answer.
Well, I do, but I thought I'd see what you could say first.
Go ahead.
Shad is actually going to sit bolt upright and start grabbing cobs of bread or anything bread, no meat, stuff that's effectively vegetarian, and stuffing it in his pockets and looking out the window. And he's going to dash outside because Shad has just realised he didn't do anything with Erasmus the previous night.
Fair enough.
And he's gonna. I'll be back. And he's gonna rush off and just look at, hopefully finding Erasmus taking shelter on some sort of shop awning or something like that from the worst of the storm, and buttering up with a load of bread rather than hay.
Fair enough.
And after he's found him, if he does find him, he'll bring him back to the bar and then come back inside, depending on how long that takes.
Yeah, we'll say you rush outside, and he'd already kind of been strapped up where he was at. So we'll say that in that area, maybe there was already kind of like somewhat of a awning. So don't really have to worry too much about going too far. So you kind of rush outside in this moment of panic and look around, and the horse hasn't really strayed from where they were the previous evening. There's probably a crowd of people kind of gathered around, kind of observing Erasmus, kind of like pointing out, have you ever seen a horse that big? In any case, you rush over, kind of, ensure that Erasmus has handfuls of bread and butter, as you said, and
he's gonna give him some by hand, and then put some on a dry bit of the floor nearby, and it's just you'll take your fill of that. Just hand me a pipe, and he's gonna pack his pipe with some of the herbs out of the special pouch. Relight it. It's just, there you go. I do apologise. I was not quite myself. I'll see you in a bit, Erasmus. And then go back into the inn to see what the rest are talking about.
Fair
and
enough.
Get on with some breakfast.
All right, so head your way back inside. Maybe for a moment this kind of alarms those of you sitting at the table, but then I'll say that you're not inebriated, right? You didn't have a hard night of drinking, so I think it's plenty easy for that you put two and two together. Most likely assume it's about the horse. So when Shed kind of rejoins, I guess not much has made underway as far as plans on what to do next. So, Shed.
Well, if nobody else is going to, Shad's good. Okay. Well, yesterday was disappointing in many ways. And unless anybody's got anything more pressing to do, I suggest we go and find something that we can make a bit of coin for, because I'll be honest, I spent a considerable portion of my funds yesterday on the room and the drink, and I'd like to recoup some of my finances. How does that sound? You all seem handy enough. Apart from you keep running away, but I'm sure you'll be useful at some point.
Better.
Well, Talifer had mentioned that he had plans, so maybe we should at least hear him out.
Fair enough.
If there's any plans, I'm happy to join, but if we need to wait for word to get back from the High Chief, or I can do some odd jobs here and there. I've got some things I can do.
I'm not sure how much money's going to be involved in this. I would imagine, a fair bit. We could stick around and help Bowen deal with what we saw yesterday. What do you think?
Right. The thing that you suggested we all run away from.
Yes, that
Exactly.
thing, yeah. Yes, that one, yeah.
Right. And what exactly has changed in our situation that we shouldn't run away the next time we see it?
Well, what I was thinking was, after our conversation with Bowen yesterday, that firstly he's gonna send some soldiers along or something. It's not just gonna be the three of us, or the three of you and me, trying to fight this. And I did start to feel a little bit bad yesterday.
Right.
Well, it's just I've spent my life reading about all the brave deeds that my ancestors have done, and the heroes of Ogmoldir, and we didn't prove to be that heroic yesterday.
Well, speak for yourself. I took on a quite challenging vegetable, and I was victorious.
I was very impressed with your gardening ability, actually. Yes, I would make sure I jot that down.
Okay, right. You know what?
Bedivere wants to say something. Shut up.
Okay.
That's a good way to handle it. Yeah.
I'm patient, don't worry, guys. And I'll just say, I think the other thing that changed, while you shared were busy drinking, the Telfer over here realized that his hero isn't as much of a hero as he thought he'd be. And also, I think it's time for him to prove himself. I believe in you, Telfer. When do we go?
Oh, I see what you mean. Well, I wasn't going to go on. I didn't mean on our own. I thought we could go with an army, and I could just watch as they kill it. I didn't specifically mean me killing it.
That doesn't sound heroic at all.
But I'd be there.
And?
Well, I'd watch it be killed, and then I could think about it afterwards.
You have that thing right on your belt. Why don't you use it? It's not that hard, I do a sword swoosh, just like without the sword, just swing my hand a bit. Try it. It's fun.
Talifer, with a frustrated sigh, will, because he doesn't carry it on his belt because it's fucking massive, he will grab it from on the floor and he will throw it to Hendrik and say, to Bedivere, and say, if you think it's that easy, go on then.
I mean, I could.
Take it, go on.
That's so bad it doesn't work for thaumaturges. Out of character, of course.
Obviously.
Well,
yeah.
but as if you'd part with it like that.
I'm offering it to you right now. I offered it to Bowen, and he said no. You're constantly giving me stick about not using it.
Fuck it, I'll take it. And I'll say that in character.
Okay. So
you're throwing away your destiny.
So, you do toss it, right? Over to him. Clarifying, Talifer.
I think he broke.
Yeah,
I think we lost him.
I didn't expect that at all, by the way.
He throws you a sword and then he disconnects from the call.
That's it.
My
That's my
final
backstory
message.
gone. It's yours.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I'll assume that he DC'd. So, for a moment, Talifer is unsure exactly how to respond. As you just say "fuck it" and you take it and you catch it right in your hands. I'm gonna say, despite not having skill with the blade, or we'll say like a blade of this sort, right? As you kind of catch it, and as you and it's a bastard sword, so it is a huge sword, right? As you catch it and kind of hold it in your hands, right, kind of like, you know, really kind of taking in what this weapon is, you have this strange sensation that were you to use this blade, you would not be without skill. You feel like you could wield this blade. Something about, like, as you hold the weapon, right, gives you this confidence, which, you know, maybe logically you know that you've never really trained with a blade like this, you've never used a blade like this before. You feel like you could. Something about it makes you feel that way.
Well, it is a nice sword.
I know.
And you just parted with it.
Well, if you think you can use it.
Well, step number 1 is believing.
I'm not quite sure that's how that works.
That's the problem.
Well, look after it, I guess.
I will.
Deidre.
Yeah, can I hold it for just a bit?
Of course. If it's making its rounds, why not?
And I will do the psychometric assessment on it.
Go ahead.
Just have to figure out how to action.
By the previous owners, functions similarly to detect magic in that you move at half your speed. Oh, you're looking to do the psychometric assessment. So you spend 1 minute concentrating on the object to get a vision of the face of the person who imbued the item with such emotion in the first place. If the associated emotion is painfully negative, you might take 1d6 mental damage. So, and read psychometric. So this functions similarly to detect magic. Let me just
Trying to send you all the lore, True.
well, actually, let's see. So, absolutely. You spend 1 minute concentrating. I'm gonna say, unfortunately for you, it absolutely is painfully negative. So you will take 4 points of mental damage in order to get this appropriate read. A vision of the face imbued it in the first point. We're gonna go more with the reading it rather than the assessment of it, right? Because the assessment just gives you a figure of a face. That's kind of a bit lame. So absolutely, this weapon has an incredible amount of we'll say like psychic, you know, emotional energy attached to it, right? And I'm gonna say that as you try to, like, you know, maybe the part that makes this hurt is that when you start to do this, you know, maybe you're thinking of like one, right, like one key figure, but this blade has been wielded by so many people, right, throughout its lifespan as a weapon, that there's so much attached to this to the blade. Yeah, some of it is positive, obviously, like some of it is, you know, triumph, some of it is incredibly full of positive emotions, but then there's the opposite end of it, right? Losing somebody incredibly important, having to slay somebody incredibly important, right? The weight of, that's a good way to put it, the weight of the history of this weapon is immense. So while that damage hits, I want you to roll me just like a straight d20 as well to kind of determine what seems most prevalent, that comes from, or see if you can kind of get something in the flashes of the history of this blade. And we'll say that's using your, sorry, I meant to say that it was using your Arcana modifier, I believe.
That's a +9.
+9, so that'd be 19. Or no, occultism would work, so it's 21. So absolutely. The 21, as you are almost sifting the history of this blade, right? It's kind of like just flashing by like in moments, almost like just one after the other, just over and over and over. It does cause that mental damage, but I'm gonna say that in that flash with the 21 total, because of your occultism modifier, that you are able to see one of its, or say one of the moments stands out to you incredibly, and it depicts a valiant kind of warrior holding one of these blades, seemingly standing victorious above one of the tree-like warriors that you saw the previous evening at the previous day at the island. I will say, with that though, there are some distinct differences, although you cannot be entirely sure because you were rushing away from the creature at the island. But the one you see as you look down, or the one you see, the creature that you see in this brief flash, has notable features that are very different than the tree-like creature you'd seen in the previous. And yeah, and the warrior wielding the blade seems to have a resemblance to Talif. There you go.
I see. Deidre is just closing her eyes while she's assessing the object, so to speak.
Yeah, maybe your nose bleeds as you keep your eyes closed and kind of hold on to the blade. Maybe it becomes not so easy, so you kind of have to, like, your arms kind of shake as you're holding on.
And she opens her eyes and directly stares at Tellifer. Tellifer, I'm sure you've heard stories about this blade. I mean, it's your family's blade, but it has slain a creature like we've seen before. Not exactly the same, but very similar. It is possible.
I know. There's loads of stories about it.
There are. As she wipes away the blood from her nose.
You saw it. Is that what you just did there? I thought you were just standing there for a minute.
Oh. I saw many stories.
Was that the voice in your head again, or?
No, this was just visions.
Oh, these were pictures in your head now.
Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff. I'm sure there are stories this blade has told are not done being told yet. There are many more stories to come from this particular blade.
But you can see the future too.
She will bluff and say yes.
Well, maybe I should hold on to it then.
Nothing against Bedifer and his come with price, of course, but heirloom kept in the family for so long, well, it would be a shame to just throw it all away. Wouldn't you agree?
I'll give you one last chance to keep the blade, otherwise it's mine. It feels great in my hands. Don't
Well, I
just
mean,
throw
if it-
away everything you stand for. It's embarrassing.
Well, I mean, I'll take it if you don't want it.
No, that's the thing I wanted, but I want you to want it.
But I'll take it if you don't want it. Shad, are you okay? You look like you're gonna burst.
Well, you two seem undecided, but I tell you what, since you can't make your minds up, I'll take it. I met a fence down by the docks.
I would imagine
We could make some money off this.
I would imagine both Bedivere and Talifer at the same time say no.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what. I'll hold on to it for now, and if we come across anything that needs killing with it, you can then borrow it. How's about that?
That's not how swords are supposed to work. Just take it. I'll be sure. I'm sure you'll, take the right decision.
Okay, well, I'll take it back. And I'll hold it in the same way that Deirdre did and see if my nose starts bleeding.
No, it does not.
Fuck.
Yeah, maybe a bit of residual. You know what? I'll say as you hold it though, it does, instill this sense of you've never how trained in the sword is Talifer anyways, like generally speaking, right?
As much as any Vogian would be, but he's
Yeah.
not. I wouldn't say he likes it or anything like that.
Yeah.
He trained just like everyone else trained.
Fair
He
enough.
didn't enjoy it. They just made him.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say that even still, this blade seems to have that feeling that like there's something about it seems to resonate this energy, whether like maybe in the past you've always kind of chalked it up to like nostalgia, memories, or whatever, right?
Mhm.
But seeing the effect that it had, even on Bedivere, right? Even for that moment, maybe has you, double question that, or maybe not. I don't know. Up to you. But and as you kind of hold it now, it feels like there's this, this energy emanating. So you you've got the blade back, and you've decided to potentially, share it in a moment of crisis if need be. So
I think it might be best if we go back to Bowen and see what his plans are with that creature in the lake. Agreed?
Yes.
Chad.
Well, you seem to get on with him a little better than me. I don't know. I didn't exactly warm to the fella, so why don't I'll come up there, wait outside. You go inside, and I'll just I don't know. I'll do a crossword or something.
Shad, I think the only reason he didn't get on with you was because he noticed quite quickly what you were, and he thought that you might have been hoodwinking us a little bit, which in fairness, you kind of were.
Well, I don't at all know what you're talking about. I'm just a humble gravedigger with a skin complaint. So
Sure.
we'll
And
see.
I think Bowen might have thought that skin condition was maybe contagious, and he didn't want any of us getting fucking stabbed in the middle of the night by a contagious skin condition.
I mean, that's an unusual fear, but I understand about the skin condition thing, and that's all this is. Okay, fine. Let's go see your man, Bowen. One thing that could do with discussing with him, though. If we're going to take this sizable army of your force of men to the lake with us, we're probably going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah, you've been really waiting for that one.
Not up for the line. I want to
Okay.
get Erasmus on it.
Fair enough. Okay. Gonna need a bigger boat. Fair enough. Okay. So you decide to head on back up, speak to Bowen about what the plans are, and maybe associate yourselves with the final, right? The final confrontation with whatever this creature may be. Yeah, absolutely. So you all finish up eating breakfast, kind of settling yourselves, right? Ensuring that, all of you, especially maybe Shad, sometimes, I mean, I don't know, maybe this differs person to person. Like sometimes a hearty meal the following day can be the exact thing you need to kind of reverse the ills of whatever you may be feeling. But some people don't function that way. In any case, you four. Shad is stealing cutlery. Yeah.
No, genuinely, he's palming cutlery off into the bag with the red ribbon.
Fair enough. All right.
Oh, but I need to know how much you think he's stolen.
I'll say that there's enough for probably 4 people at the table, so about 4 sets of cutlery.
So
Basic knife,
fork, spoon. So for 12, that's fine. I'll do.
Yeah. So there you go. All right. So with that, you have the rest of the breakfast as you wish, and start to make your way up back into the Torlin Ward, really. Fort. So round and round until you finally reach the top again. Yeah, this is a place you've seen a number of times in the past 2 days alone, right? You've kind of been here back and forth here. It'll be your 3rd time, I believe, entering the location. So familiar enough. The guards that are watching all kind of familiar enough. They've seen you a number of times now, so they just kind of wave you through, let you head on right in. So the 4 of you make your way in. At first glance, without any type of checks required at all, there's very clearly a difference in the way Bowen is carrying himself. Compared to the last time you saw him, right? The previous evening, I guess you could say. After having kind of spoken, revealed that information, right? The state of things, seen the drawing, right? Bowen is very, very much kind of down, I guess, right? But looks like he is not one to be disturbed for quite long, as he looks it looks like he's got his confidence back, basically, right? He's standing tall, he's barking orders, right? There's a whirlwind of activity in the back of the Great Hall where that table is set with all the various pieces. Even from across the room, you can hear calls for warriors, calls for what is the word? When you kind of draw up a
Strategists?
You call up warriors, right? From the common folk and stuff. I can't think of the word. Levy, yeah, there you go.
Conscription?
Yeah. Levy. Right, like, head to these nearby towns, right? See how many you can get. And you clearly hear him state that we're not going to get much help from the capital. We're not going to get much help from Vog Moldir. So whatever it is, we will have to face ourselves. There's like this immediate, understanding, and these 3 basically riders, scouts, whatever you want to call them, recruiters, I guess at this point, kind of quickly take their orders and swiftly exit the room, going to levy, see what they can do numbers wise. As they're leaving, Bowen is kind of watching them leave, and finally his eyes kind of pass them up and kind of settle on you four, and he kind of goes like a look of surprise, but in a positive way, and he'll kind of quickly step down. Talifer, I'm glad you come back. I was hoping that the four of you would stay the evening and didn't just run off. He'll kind of come down and kind of cross the room. So, what brings you to see me?
Well, we were sort of thinking you might need a guide to take you back to this creature that we saw yesterday, my lord.
Absolutely. You know exactly where it is?
Yeah, pretty clearly. Slight problem getting to it, in that there was only a tiny little dinghy boat thing on the shore. It wasn't really big enough for the four of us, let alone, I would imagine, what's going to be quite a sizable amount of men.
Yes, I have. Those three that just passed you will be.
Did I hear you say that we wouldn't get much help from Fogmulder?
That is the word that I have received. The High Chief has told me personally that unfortunately there are other focuses, and you can tell that he kind of, his jaw kind of clenches as he kind of says this next part, right? There's an anger here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that our time is better spent not chasing after, the equivalent of fairy tale. He says that they were all wiped out.
Is there anything that I can do to maybe vouch for what you're saying, my lord? Not that he wouldn't trust you, of course.
Well, I assume you've done your duty as a member of the Poet's Court and sent word back.
That I have, yes. He looks a bit ashamed at him, like he's been caught out. Yes, I did do that, yeah.
Well, maybe word will change in the following days, but
you're not willing to wait that long.
I am. Are you four?
I'm happy to wait as long as you need to gather the troops. I don't know about everyone else.
Bedivere.
To speak plainly, what are the chances for more support, more troops? Because I don't like my time being wasted.
Well, we certainly will get a handful from the surrounding villages. My best hope is 50 to 100. These are not, warriors, but they are. The people of Vogi are quite hardy. At moments like this, they can wield a weapon as good as any.
Well, sounds reasonable for me to wait.
I'll look around. Shad. Chris?
Sorry, I do apologise.
Okay.
Shad's going to be a little bit more humble this time, especially he's a bit shaken from the previous day. He's going to say, "Well, my lord, I am in no rush to get in the fray with with a powerful entity such as this. But I certainly invite any support that we can get. All I would say is I have expenses that I'm incurring by staying here, so I may need to find some interim employment while we wait. But I would certainly be there when the call comes.
He kind of looks at you. I'm gonna be honest. Better to speak plain. I'm not sure if those with you, other than Talifer here, knows what you are. Moments like these require...
My lord, I am just a humble gravedigger.
Go ahead, Bedivere.
Oh, we do. Don't you worry about that. I'll be smart enough not to mention why.
Yeah. Well, let us speak plain, Hobgoblin. Do you have any connection with any of the warriors of your tribe?
Shad is denying everything. Shad is going to, even in the face of everybody knowing what he is and saying it is, Shad's very much in denial mode. Shad's just going to look at Bowen and shrug. I don't understand what you're saying, sir.
It's fine. Apparently there are deals happening in Vogia. There are others who have made concession and alliance with the hobgoblins of the Dudas Mountains. So, in a moment like this, I cannot stand. I need all the help I can get. So, simply asking, you are safe here, you are fine, right? I trust that you do not have any ill intent with this group. You're quite strange to me, but I'm just asking. Are you still aware of any hobgoblins of tribe, or any you may be connected to? Anybody that may look to involve themselves in this fight, at least get paid for it. We need all the help we can get, if this is what it appears to be. And
is this all in Hobgoblin?
Yeah. And I know at the very least that your people are honorable with deals they make.
Okay, Shad is going to break. And in Hobgoblin, he's going to say, "Very well. I have no affiliation or connection to any Hobgoblin tribes in the area. The village that I was born and raised in no longer exists. All my ties are cut. I would say I have encountered a scouting group with nothing but peaceful intent that were coming down from the Dismal Mire. But no, I have no axe to grind with you or yours or any of this group. I was merely travelling across your lands back to the Durus Mountains for something that I wish to inspect for myself.
Well, I help out here, and maybe we can help with your travels forward. But he will look to you and like ask, especially when you make mention of the village being gone. He'll just ask like outright, orcs?
Oh no. I have no trouble with orcs. This was a person of much greater evil and sadistic nature than that, and one of the things, my lord, that I will share with you. I travelled half the length of Ekros to escape this person, and thought I had, and he turned up in Karth, and so I fled again, back here to closer to home, and yesterday he made his presence aware to me again. So this may be something else that you have to face, and I will help you deal with that to the point where I will seek no reward for helping deal with this issue that you have in hand, if you see fit to aid me in ridding myself of that person.
He'll just nod and reach out a hand to shake.
And Shad will shrug, and he will pull off the glove of his right hand and shake Bowen's hand.
Where did you say the scouting party was headed? Did you tell him? Sorry, I missed.
I didn't say where he was headed.
Okay.
I said he encountered
Right.
the scouting party. I didn't say where they were going.
Okay. All right. Shake your hand. Right. Well, he'll shake your hand, kind of firmly, and look to Deidre. This is a dangerous and heavy task. Your assistance would be much appreciated, but at the same time, it is not a he's being kind of like, he doesn't want, it's not that he doesn't want you to go, but he's kind of like worried that it might be too dangerous for an older woman. That's the vibe he's giving. Yeah.
My prime time might be past me, my physical prime time, at least, but I can help in many other places. I've actually saved the life of Telefer the other day, right after he saved mine, to be fair. So yeah, I can carry myself if needed, and I can assist the others in ways to protect themselves. Of course, I can provide healing when needed, and do some more advanced scouting, so to speak.
Well,
there's no need to worry about me. I unfortunately don't have ties back to my hometown of Liebenvon, but I can.
Where's that?
It should be part of your domain.
Never heard of it.
It's very small. We always jokingly call it like the 6 trees by the river. So
I see.
Yeah, so I won't be able to call on anyone from there to be of assistance. Ever since my husband passed away, maybe he could have been helpful in some kind, but that's how it goes. I'm here to help. Make sure that Dora is fine. Continue my duties to the people.
Well,
And I can speak for, I can vouch for anyone here that they're brave enough to send a battle at least and make sure that it's a safe battle to fight. I mean, right before the big tree guy, the Knight of Neas, well, we fought some lake goblins together, and they hold up pretty well. So,
okay.
Speaks for them.
Well, then, I guess stay around. Do you have a? Are you staying at one of the local inns? Do you have a place where you're staying? Or anything along those lines? Is there something I can assist with?
We were staying at one of the inns down, well, just down the path.
Right.
I think Shed paid for the room the other night, but yeah, if you could assist in any way, I think that would be better on Shed's wallet, I see you just said.
Yeah, we can.
I'm not too particular on any kind of luxurious sleeping place.
Yeah, I can sort you all out. Room. Here. As if like the thought just kind of occurs to him. Fine. That will work perfectly. Well, it will take a few days. I do need to hear back. Maybe he kind of looks to Talifer. Maybe your messages will have changed. The opinion of the High Chief once they do reach Bogmaldir, which should be, knowing your sort, I think it's quite quick with how you get messages around.
I should hope so, my lord. Yes, I was fairly insistent about what I saw, and we're not in the business of doubting the information that we receive from our sources.
Right. Well,
at the very least, they'll want to investigate it, I'm sure.
Well, then we'll wait a couple of days. Make sure that at the very least, even if we don't have any more assistance from Bogmaldir, we will at least have assistance from what number of warriors we can draw from the surrounding villages. So, I guess stay out of trouble. And in a few days, we will know exactly what we're going to do. How we'll face that. Before I forget, Shad, you said you'd come across a scouting party. Do you know where they may have gone? Maybe I can get a runner.
Well, it was in the region of where we camped out after dealing with that centipede beastie at the roadhouse, the secure gate,
the Linrid checkpoint.
Yeah. Yes. I believe they were heading south, but I don't recall exactly where they were aiming for. They meant, and this all in Hobgoblin. They meant no ill will to you or yours. I tell you now, out of openness towards potentially our bargain.
Okay, then maybe scout of my own can reach up. Maybe be able to find them along the path if they're heading south, and there must be. I think they're heading. I have a clue for where they may be heading. yes, I will see if I can.
I mean, does out of character? Does Shell actually know? I don't recall. I don't.
Yeah, they mentioned. Well, they mentioned where they may be heading. Into the realm
Hobgoblins.
of Avlar. And they were heading towards Rakov, which is a poor mining city, which at this point
south.
It's south from where you were. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, that's as much as Shadow, because while he's not affiliated with the Hobgoblins, he's not willing. He's not looking to sell them out either. He is entirely neutral on it, which is bad in its own way.
Yeah. But I mean, it seems like he's looking to potentially recruit them, right? To help along. Either way, I'll send a scout to see if I can catch up with them, and maybe it is a new day in Wagyu, where because of our enemies, past enemy, newly found ally. What a strange circumstance. But we shall see. Bedivere.
Speaking of strange circumstances, I had to carry Talifer's sword because it was quite heavy for a moment, and I'm intrigued. What must one do to acquire such a weapon?
Bowen kind of looks a bit shocked at Talifer.
It's his own fault.
What do you want me to say? It was heavy.
Sure. A weapon like that, unless Talifer here offers it again, I do not know if you will ever have an opportunity to wield a weapon like that.
I didn't tell him that he offered it. I want to point that
sorry.
out.
Yeah.
I just said I had to carry it for a moment.
Right. Right.
Where was I? Fuck. Oh, that's very disappointing. Well, what can you tell me about it? It seems special. For a poet, Talifer is quite silent on certain topics sometimes.
Kind of looks, Bono kind of look at Talifer a bit like confused.
I'll tell him the story tonight, my lord.
Right.
Save you doing it yourself.
Right. It's an heirloom of sorts. Bedivere. Deidre.
Yeah. We all heard stories, but this particular sword has already slain one of the something similar to the Knight of Teneas, so
Yeah.
it's
Talifer told you that much?
the sword told me, so to speak. I said I had other abilities.
Talifer claps his hand on his face like, oh, for fuck's sake.
He's gonna just kind of give you like he's gonna look at you exactly like this. Let it check. That's a good one here. Okay.
I'm pretty sure you have advisors who can tell you the same.
Right. Interesting. Fair enough, I guess. He'll just kind of shake his head. Well, then there's much planning on my end. I must return in a number of days. I guess we'll know where we stand, and in any case, that weapon, looking at Talifer, indeed should be capable of slaying such a thing. Can succeed where I was incapable. So,
Well, I best get practicing with it then.
keep it close at hand. It will be needed. Alright. So he'll kind of just gonna give a quick nod to all of you and then kind of leave and start to he's definitely like, you know, straight back, still very confident, but goes back to work essentially. So with that, unless there's something something you want to say amongst each other, I think, let's see, yeah, I guess if there's no conversation amongst each other, then at the very least, should be deciding on what you'll be doing over the next couple of days. Anything special, anything specific, as you get prepared and, you know, wait. Yeah, we'll start with Dad.
Okay, there's a couple of things that Shadow's got in mind. One, as just a general sideline to hold up his cover, as such, he'll go around to local funeral parlours, funeral places, and see if anybody wants a grave digger, and, you know, shovel a bit of dirt for a few coppers. While he's there, he might just see if there's any interesting raw material that he can purloin.
Yeah,
not that he's got any. Well, he has got sort of got capacity for it, but yeah, no, he has got capacity for it. It's just a bit of a gamble on that one. The second one, this is more of a priority. He would like to very carefully, in secret moments, take the box that he bought at the docks out and inspect it without opening it, just to make sure it's not lock trapped, anything like that. Although I suspect that's going to go really badly. And then the third one is, if he's got time, he will go out and see again if he can find any black market racketeers that are maybe flogging something that's a bit hot, should we say, in terms of special magic, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So list of priorities is checking out the box. Check the box. Would the second be the hot black market?
Yeah. The second will be see if you can pick up any magic items. I've sent you a list of what I have in mind, but if there's anything that is not on that list that you roll for, that is fine as well.
Okay. And then third would be
yes, you're doing his cover. Yeah, doing his cover as a grave digger, while also seeing if he can maybe, you know, acquire a couple of bits of raw material that he can put in the other bag.
Okay, so that's what Shad will be working towards for the next couple of days. Okay. Talifer.
Probably more than a couple of days in there.
Yeah.
Talifer, having felt maybe a sort of new sense of connection and purpose with the sword, will try and find somewhere to practice and spar and see if he can remember some of the old things he was taught when he was a boy at Torakan, sparring with his brothers and his dad.
Okay, absolutely. And so we'll say, so actually what you can do is you can actually work with like a trainer, right? Specifically with somebody who can absolutely train you. If that's I'll say that's probably gonna be a bit better than trying to just, you know, go at it alone. But it depends on.
I think he would be a bit wary of getting the sword out and flashing it around in public, is the only thing.
All right, so train in private.
Yeah.
Anything else specific?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Personal private training. Better you're up next.
I'd like to annoy Talifer till I find out what's so special about that sword, and not just like stories, but like more facts. Well, facts and fantasy. Because that's like the whole thaumaturge shtick.
Indeed. I will ask, would Bedivere potentially, I mean, to say this, and to kind of give a bit of context to, the previous sessions and stuff, that drawing that you received did not match anything that you saw out at that island. But it is still strange that that drawing would have been made, because it is identical, right, to drawings you yourself, and maybe even others that you've kind of come across in your search for this creature. So, despite the mission itself seemingly not pointing in the direction of whatever the creature is that you're hunting specifically, that lead still kind of remains a bit. Would Bedivere spend any time looking into that?
Well, I'd say I'd look into like how to overcome that first obstacle first, because it's like he's used to not finding the lead he wants to, but
Fair enough.
pressing on.
Indeed. Okay. All right. And then Deidre.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure the crafting rules are, because I got a cauldron but not the cauldron class feat yet, so I can't really brew potions.
Well, I mean, you have a couple days. We'll say that. We'll hand wave that shit. So, what is it exactly that you'd be looking to do?
So in that case, Deidre would like to craft a couple of potions of healing. I'm not quite sure about the other potions. I'm not sure if you have like time to decide that in between sessions or.
Yeah. If you want to, I'll write down craft potions of healing, and then potential other potions, and then just you tell me, what you're thinking. In the meantime. Okay.
So we have some time to figure out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rule-wise.
So, well, I guess before we get to that, at some point in all of this, Talifer, would you like to let the others know, or at least let Bedivere, who's seemingly annoying you for this information?
I'll say to him, I'll tell him all together. I'll tell everyone all together once we're finished doing what we're doing. I'll just do a little story time.
Okay, absolutely. Well, this will be the task that you're kind of going over for the next week. So, I guess I'll ask you outright. Do you want to do it now, or do you want to do it next week?
Oh no, I'll do it next week. That's fine.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Well, then with a number of days ahead of you, with multiple tasks that need to get done, or potentially good to get done in the meantime, Talifer will need time, to train with this weapon, to kind of regain the hold, right? But even we'll say, like, even before we really jump into it, because I'll give you a better breakdown next week. The moment you have it, it's you alone. You've got the blade fully free from the scabbard. It feels as though you've used this weapon your whole life. And so, as all this happens, as all of these tasks are looking to get done over the following week, I think it's a perfect time to pause. We'll pick up next time on the back end, knowing exactly what happened over this past week, where we stand with the warriors, if there's any new information from Bog Muldir, if anything there has changed, or if you'll be having to head on forward with patchwork village warriors. So thank you all for playing. We'll pause here and we'll pick up next time as we continue and potentially gather the regiment or the would-be hunting party in order to find and slay a Ghanaian knight. So thank you all for playing. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna go ahead and sign out the stream and stuff. Give me a few moments, but I'll be back in a second. So thank you. All right, guys. So thank you all. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have a good day or a good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Initially, I was going to attempt to kind of run an introduction playthrough for the next system this coming Wednesday. Doesn't look like there's any availability as far as the group goes, so I'm gonna go ahead and cancel on that. So this Wednesday probably we'll do we'll either do like a review, or maybe I'll go into how the faction play is gonna work once we get into the next system for the next round of campaigns, and a bit more detail, specifically on like what I'm looking to do and stuff like that. So and this Friday we'll get back into lore. So thank you all for watching. Hope you have a good day or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Appreciate you all. We'll be back this Wednesday. Maybe we'll see you then. If not, we'll see you when we see you. Hope you have a good and peace.